This is my Kymco People GT 300i, also known as GTI 300, and today I'm going to show you how to change the gear oil or transmission oil. On the left hand side of the bike you have the transmission, also known as the CVT. This is the back of the transmission, and here's your filler bolt right here, and there's another bolt below right there, which is your drain bolt. Both the filler bolt and the drain bolt are 12mm, so you'll need a 12mm socket. So now I'm going to go over the equipment that you need to do this job. You're going to need gear oil, and I'm using Royal Purple 75W90. The type specified in the service manual is SAE90, but I couldn't find that, so this will be a good substitute. People also use 80W90. But I'm going to be using 75W90 Royal Purple. Now, because this bottle doesn't have a window to view the level of oil in the bottle, I'm going to have to use a squirt bottle to actually get the oil into the transmission. The reason for that is I have no way to measure how much I'm putting in if I just squirt it directly from this bottle. You're also going to need an oil drain pan, and I use a smaller container to keep my bolts in when I take them out. I recommend some nitrile gloves. You'll need a shop towel or a rag. Now, according to the service manual, they use a syringe to fill the transmission with fresh oil. I couldn't find one, so I'm going to devise a way to put in a precise amount of oil using a squeeze bottle, and you can get these at Walmart for 97 cents, and a measuring cup for $1.88 at Walmart. You'll need a ratchet and a 12mm socket, some tape, and the reason I'm using tape and a pair of scissors is to cut a piece or two pieces of tape to mark on my bottle, to mark off 210 milliliters of oil. In addition to the drain pan, you're going to need a plastic bag or some kind of piece of paper or something, because the way the oil drain hole is positioned, it's directly above the wheel, so it's going to drip all over the wheel if you don't have something to catch it before it goes into to guide it into the drain pan. So I'm going to use a plastic bag for that. According to the service manual, the amount that you need to fill the transmission once it's drained is 0.21 liters, so that's 210 milliliters. So my first step in terms of getting a bottle ready for measuring and filling is to see how big my bottle is actually. So what I did was I measured off 210 milliliters of water, and so it's taking up that much space. So what I want to do is use this much space here as a reserve amount of oil, and I'll mark it off on the bottom by that amount of space, and then the top space that's left will be the 210 milliliters, which is the amount that I'm going to put into the transmission. So now I've measured the amount of space that's left in the bottle, so the volume of the bottle minus 210 milliliters is this top space here. So what I'm going to do is move this measurement so it's aligned to the bottom, like so. So now what I've done is I've cut a piece of black electrical tape, and that's my marker for my fill level. So basically what I'm going to do is fill the entire bottle from bottom to top with Royal Purple with the gear oil, and then I'm going to empty it until it's down to this mark here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want an accurate measurement of what's going into my transmission, and also this particular bottle is very difficult to empty once it gets to a low level. So if I fill it all the way, it's a lot easier to work with. And I just squeeze the bottle until the oil level is down to this mark. Now that I have my bottle prepped and I've dried out the inside with a cloth, I'm going to go ahead and fill it with the gear oil up to the top. So up to the very top of the bottle. So now my bottle with gear oil is ready to go. And here's my mark, which I'm going to use to measure out the 210 milliliters. So now I have my drain pan positioned. Also have a box for my knees. It can be rather painful on the asphalt. What I've done is I've taped a bag down to the oil pan and also to the rear wheel. This will catch the oil as it drips and it'll flow down here. I'll probably punch a hole in the bag as well. So I punched a hole in the bag, so that should drain just fine. So now I'm going to remove the first bolt, the filler bolt, which will allow the air to enter the transmission as it drains, as the oil drains. So I'm going to put that in my bin there. Next I'm going to remove the drain bolt. It's also a 12 millimeter socket. And it's got a washer, so make sure you catch that. And using the bag worked quite nicely, so all of the oil went into the pan and not on the wheel. And it's finished dripping now, so I'm going to go ahead and put the drain bolt back in. Now I'm going to tighten the drain bolt. It doesn't have to be too tight. Remember, this is aluminum, so do not over tighten. You'll strip the threads. And now I can put the fresh oil in. And I'm periodically checking the level to make sure I don't overfill. So just like another 20 or 30 milliliters. I overshot a little bit. It should be okay though. So I overshot by about 10-15 milliliters, but I think it'll be alright. So now I'm going to reinstall the filler bolt. And torque it lightly. There's no need to over torque it. Again, this is a soft aluminum, so just snug enough to keep it on so it doesn't fall off. And that's it, all done.